talking like a reindeer.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, I think you've heard the phrase, maybe music has no bounds. Well, we're about to prove to you that music not only has no bounds in terms of interpretation, but also physical boundaries as well. Joining me today are two very talented musicians. One that you probably will recognize, John Anthime Miller, who's been a guest here many times. Welcome back, John.
Thank you, Jesse.
And we're about to welcome Lucas Garrett, who's a guitarist and a musician, likes Irish music. Oh,
Thank
this is
you
going
for having us.
to be good. Good to have you here, Lucas.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with you, John. I'm just going to go back just a little bit. The last time John was here, we were talking about a performance he was going to have at the Hudson River Music Hall. John, it was a brilliant performance.
Thank you.
It really was. The audience I'm telling you, it was packed, and the audience just really, really loved it.
Thanks.
Well, and again, that kind of proved that music has no bounds, because you were all over the place with that. So I'm going to start with you, John. You met Lucas a while ago, and about a year ago, you started playing together.
That's right. About a year ago, pretty much to the day, Luke invited me over for he has a program called Saratoga Sessions.
That's correct. Yes.
Where he invites local musicians and interviews them and plays some of their music or a piece of music with them. And he invited me over, and we connected and we talked about playing some Irish music for St. Patrick's Day. We had our first show at Rock Hill Cafe in Glens Falls on St. Patrick's Day. And we've done
like 3 shows since then.
Yeah, all Irish music.
Maybe a little bit of jazz.
A little bit here and there.
Not too crazy.
Well, you know, the Irish and jazz, I'm at a little disconnect there a little bit. Hey, Lucas,
Yes.
what's behind your interest in Irish music?
Well, I was thinking about this, and not only am I 40% Irish, but I met a lot of people from Ireland, and I was really connected with a lot of them. And I said, you know what? I love the music. I love the culture. Let's do something.
Well, you know what? What you're saying is probably very true of what a lot of musicians would say. And then they usually say is when the rubber hits the road and you find out that
Right.
the rhythms are very different,
Right.
and the structures are very different, and the melodies are very different. It's a different
Unlike
challenge.
anything I've ever done.
What do you feel about that?
I love it, honestly. I feel like it gives me more, in a sense, rhythmic freedom. Because when you're doing the normal show, you're in a box, usually. Most songs you hear on the radio are in 4/4.
That's right.
Or if they're feeling saucy, 3/4. But nothing else. Doing Irish music allows me to be more musical.
Well, you know what? What he's referring to, of course, is the fact that the time signatures change. 9/8 being the one that I think of, but also the whole idea that the melodic structures are different as well, and the rhythms. To be able to play the guitar and be able to keep up with some of those modes and some of those rhythms is a very difficult thing to do. So, do you find it a challenge? Do you?
I do, but I'm getting more and more used to it. And like I said, I really love the culture,
Yes.
so I want to make sure I do it right, you know.
Yes. Well, you know, the Irish and the Scottish, I had done some work on this once for a television network that was devoted to Irish culture. And the Celts, and the Celtic culture, they're the greatest storytellers. And it manifests itself not only in lyric, but in music as well, in the structure and the rhythms of the songs. You're so multi-talented, cello being your primary instrument. How does it interface well with what Lucas is doing?
Well, there are two primary ways that it interfaces specifically with Irish music. You know, there's the typical, the sort of complex rhythmic structure that Luke is talking about. You have this sort of drone.
So you put a pad.
Yeah,
That's right,
a pad
okay.
that sort of you build on top of that, you know, is sort of in a meter, sort of not. And so it gives people, you know, the opportunity to play. And then the sort of more involved, kinetic, you know, recognizable reels and jigs that are a lot faster and more technically challenging. Easily, like, the most technically challenging
Right.
things for me, which I love because you sort of throws something in front of me. And
Yeah,
it's
I'm like,
just
here, play this, and we've never rehearsed it before, so.
Do you find that, interesting musicians usually collaborate in a couple of different ways? Sheet music in front of each one, and they play the parts, and, some of that untold rhythms and magic that happens between instruments, a very classical kind of way to approach it. But in this, I think it might even be more organic, right? You have to really feel the
Absolutely.
rhythms of what you're doing.
And another key component, and it might sound weird, but it's almost planned improvisation.
Yes, yeah.
When you
gotcha,
see a sheet of music with Irish, there are certain notes that might not be written, but you kind of have to know to play them,
sure. Yeah, sure.
especially when you're doing a run.
Yeah,
Boy, I
that's a good
bet.
point.
We've got a concert coming up at the Strand Theatre. The date is December, when? What's the date?
23rd.
December 23rd.
December 23rd at the Strand Theatre, 7 p.m. And John and Lucas will be performing traditional Irish music.
And even an Irish lyric.
And
One
lyric.
song completely in Irish.
That's right.
Oh, okay. What is that, a
That
language
one is
difference?
called Oro Se Dava Awolia. It is about a female pirate that came back to reclaim the land. And it's very interesting because we talked about Irish rhythm, Irish melodies, but I actually had to learn a bit of the language for the show.
Sure, is that like a Celtic language?
It is, yes.
Yeah,
Gaelic, right?
Gaelic, yes.
Yes, I bet it is. Boy, that adds another dimension to it. And we've got a real treat because Lucas and John have agreed to perform at the end of the program tonight, so you're going to want to watch that as well. The concert is December 23rd, 7 p.m. at the Strand in Hudson Falls. And any of you who've seen John Miller perform, you know that every project that he gets involved with is a very unique original project. And just talking to Lucas and his interest in Irish music and his ability to interpret it is really quite remarkable. So this is going to be a wonderful evening, and I can't wait for it myself.
Thank you very much.
So all right, so you guys are going to hang out, and we're going to perform. Correct?
Yes.
Good.
Absolutely.
Okay, Lucas, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having
John,
us,
great to
Jesse.
see you, and thank you for coming in. Don't forget now, it's the Strand Theatre, December 23rd, starts at 7 p.m. And to see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.